I will go over 2 questions off the homework. Which 2 do you want to see?
Number 5. Number 5 and that 3.
5 and 3?
3 and 5.
No, I had question. I had trouble with number 2 and 5.
Okay, let's do 2 and 5. 2's a little hard. 3's easy.
3 is really easy.
I know.
Okay, number 2. The first thing you should have done is rewritten this. So y equals 17, but instead of writing x minus 4 squared, we know that that literally means x minus 4 times x minus 4. And then don't forget the plus 5 at the end. Pay attention. Now, the reason that we do that is because in the very next step, I'm going to actually multiply those together, and we do that with a method called FOIL. Now, some of you don't really understand FOIL, so you can also just call it distribution. You have to distribute the x to this x, which would be x squared. You have to distribute the x to the negative 4, which would be negative 4x. You then have to distribute this negative 4 to x, which would be negative 4x, and this negative 4 to negative 4, which would be positive 16. Okay, then in the next step, I'm still not going to mess with the 17 or the plus 5 because I'm not done with this. Why am I not done with this? I can combine these like terms, and this will become x squared minus 8x plus 16. Now that I have simplified that part as much as I can, now I'm ready to distribute the 17 to everything. Okay, so y equals 17 times x squared, which is 17x squared. 17 times negative 8x. What is 17 times negative 8?
136.
Negative 136x. And then 17 times 16. What is 17 times 16? 272. And then don't forget about the plus 5. Some of you are not paying attention. You're going to be lost, and we're going to have a quiz Friday. 17x squared minus 136x, and then those will combine to positive 277. Now, like I showed you yesterday, these can be checked. You can type in the original equation that they gave you in vertex form, 17 parentheses x minus 4 parentheses squared plus 5, and then you can type in your version of it in standard form. 17x squared minus 136x plus 277. And then how will I confirm that I did it right? What will you notice on the graph? There'll only be one parabola. See, there's the blue one, and now it's red. That means we did it right because it made the same parabola. No. If you did it right, it'll be identical because these are the same thing, just in 2 different formats. Kind of like 1/2 and 0.5 are the same exact thing, just 2 different formats. Okay, now let's go over number 5. Does everybody have this copy? Okay, number 5. The first thing we do is we rewrite it. So bring down the negative 2, bring down the x minus 3, but instead of squaring it, we're just going to go and write it out twice. And the reason we do that is so in the next step, we can actually multiply that out. Okay? Multiplying those together, though, will not affect the negative 2 and will not affect the minus 9. So just bring those down. Now I'm ready to multiply these together, so I distribute the x to the x, and that's x squared. I distribute the x to the negative 3, that's negative 3x, but then I also have to take care of this negative 3 and distribute it to both of those. So that makes another negative 3x, and negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Now am I ready to go ahead and distribute the negative 2 to everything? No, because I'm still not done simplifying all of this. Can't that be combined to x squared minus 6x plus 9? Now I'm ready to distribute the negative 2. And so that will become y equals negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 18. And then minus 9. And so in the last step, just combine those constant values on the end, and you get negative 2x squared plus plus 12x minus 27. Because negative 18 minus 9 is negative 27. Now, just like always, you can check it, and you should. Okay, because on a multiple choice test, if you get it wrong, can't you literally just type in the other three equations till you find the one that matches the original parabola?
Yeah, like even if you were typing in.
Well, remember, with our test, some of them are multiple choice, but you do have some free response. So you've still got to try your best to learn this process, and then just hope it's a multiple choice question. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I graph them, and it's way down there, but see how it's the same thing? The red covered up the blue? Let me show y'all something. I know you're not going to remember this probably, but you will eventually if I show you enough times. Say that I wanted to see more of this parabola because I can barely see it. Don't I need to look further down the y-axis? Well, what we're looking at right here is called a window. So I need to change the window. So I hit window, and I need to see further down the y-axis. Wouldn't that be y min? Instead of going this down 10, maybe I should go down 20. And when I change that and hit graph, see how now I can see down 20? And I can see more of the parabola? Okay? Now, if you ever want to get back to your normal window, you can go back to window and change it back to negative 10, or you can just hit zoom, standard, which is number 6, and it'll do it for you. It'll change the window back to 10, 10, negative 10, negative 10. You know what I mean? Yes? Today, we are going to do the opposite. We're going to go from vertex form, or from standard form to vertex form. Okay? See how currently that's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c? Everybody understands that's the form ax squared plus bx plus c? And that's known as standard form. We're going to rewrite it in vertex form. Well, with a graph, this is simple when you have a graph. Y equals, to get to this vertex, didn't we have to leave the origin and go left 2? And then didn't we have to go up 4? So doesn't that place the vertex at negative 2, positive 4? Okay, well when you're writing the equation of a parabola in vertex form, how do you have to write it to represent left 2? X plus 2, and yes, it has to be in parentheses. Horizontal shifts, like left and right, go in parentheses. Then you have to square it, because that's what makes it a parabola, a U shape. And then how do you represent up 4? Plus 4. Yeah, with a graph, it's easy. Okay, but we're also going to learn how to do it without a graph. Okay, now, let me show you how you can also use your calculator to check. You need to make sure you pay attention very well to how to check stuff, because it might save you on the test if you don't know how to do it otherwise. Type in the original, x squared plus 4x plus 8. That's standard form. We rewrote it in vertex form, which is x plus 2 squared plus 4. And now watch. I'll prove that this equation and this equation are the exact same parabola, just written in 2 different formats. Standard form, vertex form. See how it's the same parabola? Okay, so now let's try number 2. To get to this vertex, how did it shift from the origin? Right 2. You had to go right 2 on the x-axis and down 1 on the y. So, wouldn't that be positive 2, negative 1 would be its vertex? What would the axis of symmetry be for this one? X equals 2. Because to cut this parabola in half, wouldn't you have to come down through the x-axis at 2? So x equals 2. Now to write the equation, it would be y equals, how do you represent right 2? X minus 2. And you have to remember, anytime it's right or left, it goes in parentheses. And then how do you represent down 1? Minus 1. And then I'm not going to check them every time, but to check it on the calculator, you just type both of them in and make sure they create the same parabola. Yes, Sam? To to represent right 2, you have to put x minus 2. And you have to put it in parentheses. Okay, let me just say something. Everybody pay attention. You know how I already taught you that standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That's standard form. Well, vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Your vertex of a parabola is always known as h and k. Even though yes is a point, so technically it's an x value and a y value, since it's a vertex, we call it special letters, h and k. So think about it. If I were rewriting this, y equals a, which we'll talk about that later, x minus, what's your h? 2. So see why it became a minus 2? Because the minus was already part of that formula. So even though our h was technically positive 2, so we went right 2, when it gets stuck in that formula, it's sitting beside a minus. And then plus k is just plus negative 1, and a plus and negative 1 is minus 1. But to me, instead of teaching you like that, it's almost easier just to teach you the horizontal shifts go inside the parentheses, and you do the opposite of what it looks like, and vertical shifts go outside, and you do what it looks like. Minus 1 is down 1. Okay, so let's try number 3. Y equals, to get to this vertex, what would you have to do? Left 4, down 2. Okay, so that would create the point negative 4, negative 2, right? So that's your vertex, which is known as your h and k. But instead of you trying to memorize that equation, y equals a times x minus x squared plus k, it's really easier for y'all to just remember horizontal shifts go inside, vertical shifts go outside. So how do I represent a horizontal shift of left 4? X plus 4. So do you see why it became plus? Because if the equation is minus, and we did minus a negative 4, that's why it became plus 4. And then how do you represent down 2? Minus 2. Okay, yeah, everybody take a second, graph this one and graph this one, and make sure they make the same parabola. Y equals, to get to this vertex, you have to go where and where?
Left 3. Up 4.
Correct. So the vertex of it is negative 3, because left 3 is negative 3, and then the positive 4, because up 4. So just for practice, where would the axis of symmetry be? Negative 3. Cut that parabola in half when you have to draw axis of symmetry through the x-axis at negative 3. So that's what they mean when they ask about axis of symmetry. Now, to represent left 3 in our equation, you would write x plus 3, and it has to go in parentheses, and then you square it, because squaring it is what makes it that parabola, a U shape. If you don't square it, it'll be a straight line. And then plus 4. Okay, now I want you to take a few minutes and try the 6 questions on page 10 by yourself. Raise your hand if you want to tell me your equation. Genesis.
Y equals x minus 1 squared minus 2.
Very good. Write 1, so that's x minus 1. Then down 2, so minus 2 on the outside. Number 6. Austin.
Y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3.
Very good. Number 7. Anybody? Anybody? Jalen. X minus 3 squared, that represents the shift of right 3, and then plus 3 for up 3. Good. Number 8. Okay, Lizetta. What was the end? Right, I can't hear because some people think they can just talk while I'm teaching. Number 9. Anybody new? Okay, Austin.
Y equals x plus 1 squared minus 1.
Right. And then number 10. Okay, Jalen. Or whoa, Charlie raised his hand. Yeah, that one. good. Okay, we got a lot further in this in my other classes, so tomorrow we'll be doing that since you're the only class I see for Algebra 1.